Hello, this is Amethyst Whispers, and this is a soft-spoken show-and-tell video. I recorded this video while I was at a conference, and the audio was horrible, so I'm going to re-record it now. I was at a conference to learn a new intervention for the children that I work with in my full-time job, and it was wonderful, but I was very bored, and I was away from my husband and my dogs for 3 days, and I decided to make a little show and tell video of some of the things that I bought at the mall while I was at the conference and some of the things that I brought with me. And so that is what you'll see in this particular video. And I have to warn you that a lot of the colors that I will show you are going to be very washed out because of that yellow wall that you see in the background. The hotel itself was interesting, but the actual room was pretty comfortable, although the heater was very hot and very loud, which is why the audio is not any good on this particular video. Also, I need to warn all of you guys that this video is going to be very girly. It's going to be very girly with a lot of makeup and makeup brushes and things of that nature. So, hopefully, even though you're a guy, you still might enjoy this, and maybe you can get some ideas for things you might purchase for your girlfriends, like this. This is my new favorite perfume. This is Enchanted Wonderstruck by Taylor Swift, and I love this scent and this bottle. They come with these little charms. There's a bird charm, there's a feather charm, a little glass bead, and a little rose. And I love the details on the top to the perfume. And I wish that this could be a 4D experience because it is the nicest smelling perfume I've ever worn. And I was really hesitant to get it because I'm not a fan of pop star perfumes, but this is so wonderful that I took a sample of the perfume and put it up on the refrigerator a couple of months before Christmas as a hint to my husband, and he did a good job and got me a big bottle of it for Christmas. So he is really a wonderful guy and pays attention when I drop very clear hints. I'm going to try to do a close-up here on the bottle top so you can see some of the details, but I don't think that the camera focuses very well, but you can see there's some scroll work and there's some just beautiful little, almost like a star pattern. It's very pretty. I will say though that I love those charms, but they tend to get in the way sometimes. So next, I'm going to show you the cleanser line that I love, and if you listen to my spa video, then you might recognize these because they're what I use in that video as well. It's the Botanical Kinetics line by Aveda, and this is the Purifying Cream Cleanser, and I love that bottle top because it turns, I think, 90 degrees and it turns on. I really like how gentle these cleansers and toners have been on my skin because I have sensitive skin when it comes to the I guess chemicals in the cleansers. Although when it comes to makeup and things like that, I don't have overreactions. But I love how that turns to a 90-degree on and off. It makes it really nice for when you're packing. And surprisingly, this line is not very expensive. It's probably about $20 a bottle, and the bottle lasts for quite a long time. I think I've had this set for over 5 months now, and a little bit of product goes a long way. This is the toning mist from the same line, and it's really nice and really refreshing and has a nice scent to it that's very natural, which is one of the reasons why I really like Aveda products, because they're natural and I know that they're good for my skin, and they don't have a lot of the additive chemicals that you see in a lot of other products, and they don't have a lot of stripping agents and a high concentration of alcohol like you see in other facial care products. So that's one of the reasons why I love it. And I think I've only used about 50% of the bottle over the course of the last 5 months. After I cleanse, I might pat my face slightly dry, but I leave it a little wet, and then I put the toner to spray maybe 3 or 4 pumps all over my face, and then I immediately apply the moisturizer. And I think this has really helped my skin because it hasn't been dry this winter at all, and I used to let my face dry after I got out of the shower or after I washed it in the sink and then applied the toner and the moisturizer, and it gave my skin a chance to dry out, and now it doesn't dry until the moisturizer's on, and I think that has been a big help. And also, this hydrating lotion is wonderful, and only 2 pumps is all I need of product to cover my entire face and neck. And again, it has that little 90-degree turn, and it turns off and on, so it's really easy to pack. And the only product that I don't have here to show you is the liquid exfoliator, which I use instead of a scrub, because the scrub does tend to make my skin a little rough and it's not good for it. But I ran out, so I need to go and get a new bottle. But compared to what I was paying before, these are pretty cost effective for the amount of product that you get. But I also realized that for some, $20 a bottle might seem a little extravagant. So I have to say that as I'm watching this video, I'm also kind of wondering what's next. I probably should have watched the entire thing before I decided to record the video. But that's okay. The next product that you'll see is the Urban Decay Meltdown Makeup Remover, and this is an excellent product for getting every last bit of makeup off your eyes. This is also around $20 a bottle, which for makeup remover is expensive. But again, a little goes a long way. I just squeeze a little onto a cotton ball and then just wipe on my eyes. But what also works really well, which I don't show you in this video, is Pond's Cold Cream Cleanser. You can get a jar of it for less than $5. And put a little bit on your eye or all over your face at nighttime, and it will wash everything off. A little goes a long way, and it works wonders. But I will tell you that because it's a mineral oil based cleanser, if I use it in the morning, I will have an oil slick for a face all day long. So I try to never ever use it unless I'm applying it right before bed, and then I do not use a moisturizer because it's too much for my face. And then if I wear it to bed, I need to make sure that I wash my face again in the morning. Otherwise, you will break out from the oil, that mineral oil that's in the ponds, but it is a really good makeup remover. And I think I got the medium size jar for $4.79 at Target, so it's a really good buy. So now I'm kind of rummaging through, and I'm going to find the next thing to show you. And everything is sitting sort of on the side of me, and I'm recording this on my iPad, so it was a little difficult to manage everything and keep my hands in frame. But I wanted to do a video where you could at least see some video and see some hand movements, because I know that some of you had said that you really like that to accompany the voice, which is also why I'm currently re-recording the audio, because I realized that good quality audio can make or break the ASMR experience. And what you're going to see right now is Pure Minerals in the lightest color they make. It's in porcelain. I have very, very fair skin. I'm generally just fair complected. I'm pretty Irish looking, so I really love this mineral powder. This is my go-to for my face every morning. Liquid, I think, just takes too long and sometimes can just feel a little yucky on my face after a few hours. And when mineral makeup became very popular, Bare Essentials was the #1 seller, and I didn't like it because I didn't like how it felt on my face, and I didn't like the loose powder. And Pure Minerals has always, in my opinion, been better, and it has always been pressed, and you get really nice coverage, and you can build the coverage if you need it. And I will say it's kind of pricey. I get this compact at Ulta, and I believe it's $27, but it does last a long time. And that is the brush that comes with it. It's called, I think, the Chisel brush, or the Chisel Kabuki brush, maybe. And it's a really nice quality brush. It really just dips into the product. You kind of swirl it around, and then you just swirl it onto your skin, and it makes your skin look really, really nice and flawless without looking like you have a lot of makeup on. And it's not full coverage, but it just sort of evens out the skin tone and has a nice look. And if you buy the kit, you can get that brush for free, which is what I recommend doing if you're going to try those products. And if you buy them from Ulta and you don't like them, then you can return them even after they've been used. They have a really generous return policy there. So next is the Revlon Color Stay Normal to Dry Skin Liquid Foundation, and this is what I use if I'm going to do liquid, which I do sometimes when I want more coverage. For example, if I'm going out at night and I just want something a little bit more coverage, there's really no other word for it, and then I can get from the Pure Minerals. And one of the makeup blogs I love to follow is called Makeup Geek. She has a YouTube channel as well as a blog as well as a makeup line, and this is one of her go-to foundations, and she likes this even above all of the really high-end makeup lines. And this one has a matte finish, which is really good for taking photographs. For all you girls out there, if you didn't know it before, if you're going to be in photographs, then you want to wear a matte foundation with a matte setting powder. Otherwise, you'll get shine that could make your skin look oily. However, it's better to wear, or to at least apply, shine or highlighters if you're not going to do pictures, to make your skin have a healthy glow. Now, this is the Real Techniques stippling brush that I use to apply the liquid foundation, and this brush And this company is by Samantha Chapman, who is a makeup artist in the UK, and I love her and her sister. They have a YouTube channel called Pixie Woo, and they're both makeup artists and upload a ton of looks all the time, and they're just really great to watch and learn from. I'll make sure that I put this information into the blog, but what you do is you put a little bit of product and then you put it on the skin and you just swirl it around, almost the same as how you're applying your mineral powder, and it really provides even, full coverage, and it looks flawless on your skin because of those little stippling bristles. Those things are just magic. So I really recommend this brush. You can also get this brush at Ulta, and it wasn't very much. I think it was less than $10, and if you get a coupon, it would be even cheaper. And this brush is just as good as the MAC brushes that are much, much more expensive. I've used both and I prefer this one. I have two of these brushes. I use one for the liquid foundation, and I use another brush for the contouring, because I like to contour with a liquid when I'm using liquid foundation, and then I have an angled brush that I contour with powder, and here's the powder that I contour with when I'm wearing the mineral foundation. This is Hoola by Benefit. This is a bronzer, but it's a matte bronzer. When you're using a powder to do your contour, it's very important that you use a matte, because it's supposed to create a shadow, which is supposed to give your face sort of the thinner, more sculpted look. So if you're using a bronzer that has a shimmer, that can actually make your face, it brings attention to that highlighted area, which is exactly the opposite of what the contour is supposed to do. The brush that comes with it is quite nice, but as you can tell, it's quite thick, so you kind of have to squish it down to make your line a little bit less thick, because you don't want it to be all over your cheek. You just want it to be in a very specific area that you then blend out. So sometimes I use this brush to apply, but most of the time I don't. Most of the time what I use, which should be coming into the shot very soon, is an angled contour brush, and the one I use is just an inexpensive drugstore brush. You can see the divots in there that other brush has created, which does not make me happy. It's a waste of product. And this product by Benefit, I hate to say it, but I think it was more than $20 at Ulta. And I apologize for any background noise. My dog really wants in this room, but she wants to chew her bone, and she's too loud. So she is outside my door and whining to get in right now. But the Hoola by Benefit for fair complected girls is a wonderful contour. There's the contour brush I use. Like I said, it was less than $5 over the counter. You can kind of squeeze the bristles down if you want, but I just apply it from my ears, kind of under my cheekbones towards my jawline, and then I use that bigger, fluffier brush that you see there, which I think is an Eco Tools brand, which you can get at everywhere, Target, your local drugstores, Ulta. You can see how much bigger it is. So you want the smaller brush for contouring, and then you can use that bigger brush to really blend it out, because when you're doing blending, it's easier to do and you get a better look if you use a clean brush instead of the one that had all the product on it in the first place. It does get kind of fluffy after I've used it, but then I just blend it out. And when you push down like that, that's when you're really going to get those bristles. So then you can push down to apply like that. It's because you want that real thin line. And then you can buff it out using the same brush. Or, as I said before, it's better to use a big, fluffy, clean brush to do that. So the next thing that I'm going to show you, I'm sorry, I'm a little hungry, so I'm going to eat some of my little gummies. Little fruit snacks that are really delicious. In the future, I'm going to make sure that I don't have so much lag time. And the sad thing is that on the video I can guarantee you that I'm talking, and that's why there's lag time in between the products and the show and tell that I'm doing for you. So I will try to be a little bit more concise and do a bit better job in the future. But this was the very first video I attempted to make with video and audio at the same time. So here is my favorite blush brush. This is actually a Bare Essentials brush that I got in the kit. It's very small, but I like that it's really small because I want to be able to apply the product from my temples down to the apples of my cheeks, and I want to put it very precisely and then use that bigger, cleaner brush to then buff it out. A big fluffy blush brush can get the product everywhere, and you end up looking like your cheeks are really red. And if you're trying to create a contoured face and you're trying to create a sculpted look, you really don't want to apply that much blush. You want it to be very precise. So this is a really nice brush for blending, but not for applying product as good as this one is. And I think I said it earlier, but the other one, the big fluffy one, is I believe Eco Tools, and I got that in a kit of I think 4 or 5 brushes for less than $10 at Target. But they're really nice quality brushes. I actually gave them to my sisters and my mother for Christmas. So this is one of the highlighters I use. This is a MAC Cream Eyeshadow in the color Luna Frost. It's a cream color base, and you can use this a host of ways. So some of the things that I use this color for, because it is highly pigmented, because it's that cream base, is you can use it as a highlighter because it's going to go on pretty transparently, which you can see once I rub this in and I sort of turn, you can see the shimmer. So I can apply this underneath the brows to highlight that area. You can apply it above your blush, above your apples of your cheeks to kind of give a dewy look. And one of my favorite things to do is to take a little lip brush and apply it just on my Cupid's bow. It automatically gives your lips a much fuller looking appearance just by adding on just that little bit of white. So that is a really nice product to use for that. One of the other highlighters I use are from the Smoky Eye Palette by Victoria's Secret. This was a free eye palette that I received with the scent Bombshell, which was, I think, part of their gift packaging for Christmas. There's 2 highlight colors on the bottom, and the one on the right, on the left, the whiter one, that right there, that is the one that I use with my blush brush to apply my highlighter powder. If you find a really good eyeshadow that has a really nice shimmer, it's perfect to use as a highlighter. This is another Real Techniques brush, and I like that it has just that little bit of a tapered dome to it. It's perfect for applying highlighter. You can take that, dip it into the highlighter, just like that. Then you can apply it above your apples on your cheeks to give that highlighted appearance. You can also apply it down the bridge of your nose, in the center of your forehead, on the cupid's bow of your lip, and on your chin, anywhere that you want to draw some attention and focus. And it helps also to give your face an area of lightness that's the opposite of where you're creating shadow with that contour. And that brush is perfect for applying that. So the next product I'm going to show you is the Real Techniques brush again. And you can see that it just has that nice tapered dome top to it, which makes it perfect also for applying concealer underneath the eye. But if you're going to use one for concealer and one for highlighter, then you're going to want to get more than one brush, and I don't believe that brush comes in a kit. But again, you can find those at Ulta. So the next product I'm going to show you here is the concealer that I like, and this is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer in the lightest color they make, because I am so pale. And a really nice dupe for this is the Revlon Color Stay, but I don't think I have that with me on this particular trip. But it has really nice coverage and it lasts a long time. This is the Color Tattoo 24-Hour Cream Eyeshadows by Maybelline, and I love these. This one is in, I believe, gold. I can't think of the name offhand, but it's their golden one. Bold gold, I believe, and I love this color. I lately have not been using any makeup brushes to do my eyes because I use my fingers with these cream eyeshadows, and they have awesome staying power even if I don't put primer on my lids, and they're just gorgeous. That one has a really gorgeous shimmer to it, and I believe they're owned between $6 and $8 depending on where you find them, and they have a huge range of colors. I have the colors Pomegranate Punk, Audacious Asphalt, Bold Gold, and Tenacious Teal. This is the L'Oreal Infallible in Golden Emerald. This is my all-time favorite eyeshadow for feel, for coverage, for pigmentation, and for color. I love it. I have very green eyes, and so the green in this color is unbelievable, and I wish that you could really see the true color of it, but you just can't with the other colors in the room. But that shimmer is gold flecks, which offset my eyes perfectly. Of course, that's my opinion, but I really like how it looks on me. And so what I do is I sweep that with my finger on the outer corner of my eye, over my lid, but I do not apply it to the very inner corner of my eyelid. And I think that this also runs between $6 and $8 depending on where you get it. But they have a huge range of colors as well. And an interesting story, Makeup Geek, who I told you about before, has a review of these on her channel, on her YouTube channel. And she was comparing them against the Armani Silk eyeshadows. And what she found was that she is pretty sure, 99% sure, that they were made in the same lab, because what a lab will do is produce a product, and then cosmetic companies will choose whether or not to buy the product and then package it. And both of them had that same little piece that holds it down, and the pots that they were put in were almost identical as well. As I said, these range probably around $7 or $8. The Armani eyeshadows were $32 a piece. So you are getting just as good a quality. They're from the same lab. They're even some of the same colors, but you're getting it at much, much less. So if you want to pay for the Armani name, you can go to an Armani cosmetics counter and pay $32, or you can go to your local drugstore and pay $7 or $8. So I love those colors. This is one of my favorite eyeliners. This is the Revlon Color Stay. It acts as if it's almost a marker for your eyes. It's like a fine tip marker, and clearly I'm having trouble opening it. But it creates a fine line, or you can lay it on its side and kind of create a thicker line. And that will stay all day. I will actually have trouble washing that off later because it gives such a black, nice line with a lot of staying power. And so I will apply that after I put on my eyeshadow. I will apply that in a thin line right at the base of my eyelashes, and it will automatically give you the appearance of thicker lashes. It's all about the little tricks, girls, isn't it? So I really recommend that. I've also bought the Kat Von D tattoo ink liner, and it was twice, if not triple the price, and it really is the same quality. So I recommend the Revlon one. This is my favorite mascara. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black, and I love the wand, and it goes on so nicely. And this is also the #1 rated mascara on makeupgeek.com. And she likes this over all of the high-end ones that she's used. You can see the light go through the individual bristles, so it really goes through your lashes very nicely and doesn't clump them at all. I have had really good luck with that mascara. And again, it's very inexpensive, and I think it works as well as the Clinique High Impact, which is almost $20. And I should also mention that I am not a makeup artist. It's just a hobby, and I just like to follow the recommendations that I get from others and try them out myself, and I have a lot of fun doing it. This is the Sephora Pro Palette for green eyes. It's a smoky eye palette, but it also shows you how to do a natural looking eye. They still carry these Pro palettes for brown eyes, blue eyes, and I think that's it, but they're really nice. They show you step by step how to apply the product. They come with a nice selection of products. You get 6 full-size eyeshadows, and I want to say this palette is around $30, but for the amount of product and the step-by-step instructions and the mini eyeliner you get, well worth the price. And I like to mix these colors, and on the bottom right, the iced beige is a perfect mid-tone, and so I go to that color a lot, even when I'm using other palettes and other colors. For example, if I'm wearing that Bold Gold by Maybelline or the Golden Emerald by L'Oreal, I'll swipe that mid-tone on just above my lid, and then up in the upper left-hand corner is the highlighter that is my go-to highlighter. There's the mid-tone, and then up in that highlighter, I use that one almost every day. And I usually just use my pinky when I'm too lazy to find a brush and swipe it under my brow and blend it in real quick. So I highly recommend that palette. I think I'd also like to get the brown eye palette because I like the colors in that one as well as the green eye palette. Two other palettes that I don't think I can live without are the Naked palette, but that's $50, and that one is by, I think, Urban Decay, and their smoked palette's also really nice. I went to Sephora, and because it's my birthday month, they gave me some little free perfume samples. And I also got this, which is the Real Birthday Turn-Ons, and it came with a little mascara, I believe, and a What's Up, which is an illuminator or a highlighter stick. And what I was hoping to do is have some unboxing sounds on the video, and instead I had a bit of a struggle with it, and then the audio was so bad on the original one that I couldn't do it anyway. But it comes with two little, you can see on the side here. I'll pull those out. And I've heard this is a really good mascara, but I have not used it yet. And I believe the wand has even little mascara, I guess, wand ends on the very end, so that you can even get the bottom lashes if you turn it vertically. And this is the highlighter stick. I've not used this yet either, but I want to try it out very soon. So if you have a February birthday, this will be your free birthday gift if you have the Sephora Beauty Insider card, which is free, and then you go in and you just show your card, or I'm not sure if you have to make a purchase or not, but you can show your card and that's what you'll get. They have really nice birthday gifts. I've even gotten a full size Philosophy shower gel before from Sephora. I really like their store. And then I finally broke down and got this Urban Decay color. It's called Blackout, and it is the blackest black you've ever used on your eyelids. You can use this obviously as black for a smoky eye look. You can use it if you just want kind of a grungy black eyelid look. And it's also great to use as your setting powder for your black eyeliner at your lash line. Or you could actually just use it with an angled brush or an eyeliner brush to create, if you press it down into your eyelashes, you can create a fuller lash line using that product. I believe it was $18, but trust me, I have tried to look for duplicates to that color for months and months, and I finally just broke down and bought it because there is no duplicate, in my opinion, for Blackout by Urban Decay. And you'll see here in a second that you really do get a lot of product for the money. I'm sure I will not have to buy another one of these. You also get Blackout as one of the included colors in the smoked palette, but I didn't want to have to get out the palette every time I wanted this single color. And I believe it might also be in the Naked 2 palette, but don't quote me on that. But here I'm showing you that if you put on your Revlon Color Stay, you can use that Blackout as the setting powder, and it's black enough to really make a nice black setting powder. That is barely a swipe of color, and that's how much pigmentation it has. And if you do a full swipe, you'll see how dark. So you could just put it on your finger, rub it on your lid, and then use it to kind of smoke out your look. It's a really, really nice color. And I've picked it up and put it down several times at Sephora and Ulta. Oops, almost had a little crash there with the camera. And I finally just broke down and said, I'm gifting myself this color, because like I said, they are very expensive to get as single colors there. You're much better off buying a palette because the palettes are less expensive. And the last thing that that I got from Sephora is this, which is their Honey Blonde eyebrow palette. And if I can figure out how to open it, which I think I'm now using my teeth to pull the plastic off, you'll see that it's a really nice color if you're a light blonde like I am. It comes with the lighter color and then the darker color and then a wax to shape the eyebrows and fill them in. And I have very, very light eyebrows. They almost look non-existent, except for a little bit of maybe a red tone in them because I'm so fair complected. And so I've really been looking for a nice palette or brow pencil that can really fill my brows in without making them look brown, because then they just look fake. And the other nice thing is underneath that palette there's a little drawer that pulls out, which you'll see in just a second. And when it pulls out, you have all your little tools. There's a little tweezers, a little spoolie, and a little eyebrow brush. But the eyebrow brush is very stiff and it really digs into the product, so I don't recommend using it. This Ardell eyebrow pencil or eyebrow brush with spoolie is really, really inexpensive at Sally Beauty Supply, and it's much softer and applies the product much nicer on your eyes. So I think I'm doing this right, but I apply the wax and shape my brows, and then I put the color on, and then I comb it through with the spoolie. I picked up this eyelid primer at Target. This is e.l.f. Eyes Lip Face. This primer was $1, and I have been told that it works just as well as the Urban Decay primer. I also got this eyeliner and shadow stick. And the shadow stick is like a carbon gray, charcoal gray. And then the eyeliner side is black. And they actually work really well. I was surprised by how pigmented they are, and I was surprised by the staying power of both the colors, because this product was only $3. So I was really excited by how nice it worked, and I really like the colors. I think just with this shadow stick you could create a really nice smoked out look. See how when you turn you can kind of see the silver. I'm making quite a mess of my hands, I tell you. By the end of this video I had to do a really major hand washing, and it took a lot of soap to get all the makeup off of that hand. And then there is the eyeliner side, which is the black, and you can see once I put it on, it goes on really softly, and it has a nice black pigment. And as I said before, it did not want to wash off. It was not that easy to get off. I had to really scrub. And again, that was Eyes Lip Face, which you can get at Target, and it was $3 for that particular product. I also picked up this concealer, which I think is the Fit Me brand. I think it's Maybelline. And I believe this is the either cool or neutral medium deep, and I'm using that as a contour color, which is a good, you're supposed to go about 5 shades darker, and I've used it a couple of times, and I think it might be a little too dark for what I'm going for. You'll see right here, it's pretty dark on my skin, and so I think in the summertime it might work as a liquid contour, but I actually picked up a beige concealer for $1 by e.l.f. this week, and it will be a better, more natural contour color right now in the winter. But But you just blend that out, and the thing that I like about that particular color is it has a gray undertone, which is perfect for creating shadow on a fair complexion that is a neutral or a cool tone. At least for me, if I use a warm tone or some of the other bronzers, or for lack of a better word, colors for contour, they end up looking too orange on my skin, and then they look really unnatural because there are no shadows in this world that are orange. So having a gray undertone is really nice when creating a contour line on the face. And I don't do full makeup every day. I work with young children. I would look like a scary clown if I did that. But just for special occasions or going out, I like to be able to do kind of a nice contour to help thin out the look of my face and sort of create some planes that just look natural. And so having a contour and then having the blush and highlighter to offset that can really make a face look really nice and sculpted, which is what I like, because I tend to have a rounder face, and I like to create, like a cheekbone line. And I'm sure there's a lot of girls out there who know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment, a request, and please subscribe if you'd like to hear more. Thank you.